My brother Tim and I set out for a 4-day hike in the Swiss Alps, excited, ready and clueless about what lay ahead. Little did we know that after just 1 day I would be on my own. I continued the journey solo, embarking on an unforgettable adventure. In this video, I will show you the most fascinating facts about this UNESCO World Heritage region. From the highest railway station in Europe and the longest World Cup ski race, to one of the deadliest north faces and the Valley of Death. There's more to discover than you might think. Me and my brother will do a 4-day hike here in the Bernese Alps in Switzerland. Let's go! We were thrilled to finally start the adventure. Last summer, the weather was quite bad in June and July. However, in the middle of July, the weather finally cleared up, so we spontaneously decided to go on this adventure. In Switzerland, there is a hiking trail called Via Alpina, which crosses Switzerland from east to west. The Via Alpina is 390 kilometers long and has an elevation gain of almost 24,000 meters. It is suggested to complete the trail in 20 stages. My brother Tim and me were planning to do 4 of these stages. Starting in Meiringen, we were heading to Grindelwald, Lauterbrunnen, Griesalp and would finish in Kandersteg. So the goal of the first day was to get to Grindelwald by crossing a pass called Große Scheidegg. So beautiful. Let's continue.
Something tells me I won't be coming home. Maybe I might be better off alone. Think I'm gonna...
By the way, the Via Alpina goes way beyond Switzerland. In the previous map, I only showed Switzerland, but this is just a small part of the whole Via Alpina. From Trieste to Monaco would be more than 2,000 kilometers and is split into 116 stages. Considering we were planning to go from here to there, I have great respect for the people who do the whole 2,000 kilometer hike. But in the end, the only thing that matters is fun. Especially with this great weather, we were enjoying it a lot.
I believe in a God who loves me well, better than I can love myself. But I can't seem to make sense of grace.
So the first 14 kilometers are done. We made it to the top.
Yes, very nice, beautiful view. Now we will eat something. We came all the way from down there. You can't even see it anymore. And now we will go to the village over there. The view is just amazing. My shoe felt kinda weird and now I know why. I forgot my inner soul. That's so stupid. I have to buy one in the village. After eating some lunch, we had new energy to continue. It was really stupid that I didn't check my shoes before leaving. Surprisingly, the missing soles didn't cause pain while walking. I was really grateful for that. However, for Tim it was worse. He had bought new hiking shoes just a few days before the trip and used them for the first time. After lunch, his feet were already hurting quite badly. It was worrying because it kept getting worse and worse. This is the perfect example why you have to break in new hiking shoes before doing a big trip like this. The bus horn you just heard in the distance is very famous in our country. In the Swiss Alps, bus horns play an essential safety role on narrow mountain roads where visibility is limited by sharp bends and steep terrain. Buses have long, deep-sounding horns to warn oncoming traffic of their presence. These horns are distinct from typical urban bus horns. They produce a powerful, resonant tone that can be heard from a distance, ensuring that other vehicles have ample warning to slow down or pull over to allow the bus to pass. The horn is already 100 years old. This traffic sign indicates that the horn is used on a specific road.
We ran out of water after lunch. Finally, we can refill our bottles.
He's teaching me how to love myself. And patiently he fathers me. 'Cause growing up can be a delicate thing.
We were lucky with the weather, but unfortunately Tim had less luck with his feet. It didn't get any better over time.
Yeah, because I play football, my feet hurt normally a little bit, and right now I'm trying out new shoes and they're hurting terribly. So I'm not really sure whether I can continue, if it will get better tomorrow, and if it will make sense to quit today. Bye bye. This is so sad. But yeah, he will go home now.
I was really looking forward to the 4-day adventure with Tim. It was a pity that he had to leave already. As soon as he announced that he was going home, it was clear for me that I would continue on my own. Going home with Tim was never an option for me, even if it meant carrying all the luggage on my own. At least I could borrow his soles, which saved me some time later.
Made it to Grindelwald.
The first day went by very quickly. This was the view from my tent. We did 28 kilometers and 1,700 meters in altitude. I was very exhausted and went to bed quite early.
Good morning. I spent the night here. I didn't sleep that well. I woke up many times. But yeah, I hope I have enough energy. Now I will pack up everything, eat breakfast and then leave.
I spent the night on a private property. When I arrived in the evening, I didn't know whose property it was, so I couldn't ask for permission. Apparently, someone saw me and called the owners. They were very friendly and offered me to stay there. The only condition was that I didn't leave any trash behind, which of course I never do. After disassembling my tent, it was time to start hiking again.
I can turn a blind eye if you're down to try.
Surprisingly, my feet feel very good after yesterday. I'm quite happy about that.
I was happy that I was hiking with soles, not like at the beginning of the first day. The cushioning made it much more comfortable to walk, and it's probably healthier for my body as well.
I'm also very happy about the clouds. They make it much more comfortable to walk uphill.
With this train you can get to Jungfraujoch, which is one of Switzerland's most iconic destinations with more than 1 million yearly visitors. Sitting at an altitude of almost 3,500 meters above sea level, it is the highest railway station in Europe. The construction began in 1896 and took 16 years. The railway runs mostly through a tunnel inside the mountains, which was an extraordinary engineering achievement at the time. At the top there is an observatory, an ice palace and even a mailbox. From the top, visitors can see the Aletsch Gletscher, the longest glacier in the Alps with more than 22 kilometers in length. It costs at least 100 Swiss francs to get to Jungfraujoch. Since it's very expensive and I've already been there, I decided to skip it.
I really like hiking and being out in nature, just so beautiful.
Back into the mind's eye. If you're down to try.
2 hours and 25 minutes, 8.5 kilometers, made it to Kleine Scheideck, no more uphill for today.
I was surprised how quickly I had reached the top. Kleine Scheideck is the small sister of Große Scheideck, which we crossed the day before. As the weather was not that great in terms of view, there were not that many tourists at the train station. However, the weather was ideal for hiking. After 2.5 hours, I was slowly but surely getting hungry.
The weather, we have each other, and that's how the story will end.
Now I will eat lunch with this view.
Let me pause quickly. I want to briefly talk about what's behind me. In winter, it looks like this. The spot is called Hundschopf and is part of one of the most iconic and challenging ski races. With a length of almost 5 kilometers, the Lauberhorn race is the longest World Cup ski race in the world, with speeds of up to 160 kilometers an hour. Hundschopf is actually the most famous feature of the race. After takeoff, racers fly about 40 meters through the air. The Lauberhorn race attracts more than 30,000 spectators every year and has a high cultural significance in Switzerland.
Well, I'll be your shade tree in summer, if you'll be my fire when it's cold. And whatever the season, well, we'll keep on breathing, 'cause we'll have each other to hold.
For the first time on this day the sun came out, which gave me some extra motivation. I was slowly getting used to being alone and was really happy that I continued on my own.
Made it to Wengen. Now 500 meters of downhill await me, and then I will be in Lauterbrunnen.
From Kleine Scheideck to Wengen it was quite flat, but the trail from Wengen to Lauterbrunnen was much steeper.
My knees really don't like that.
For the first time, I really regretted not having hiking poles with me. Luckily, it didn't take too long to get down to the valley.
Made it to Lauterbrunnen. Today's hike was beautiful, but this last downhill was not fun. I'm glad it's over. Now I can chill.
I had a beautiful view from the campsite. On day 2, I did 22 kilometers and had an elevation gain of 1,100 meters. Also on the second day, I went to bed early.
Day number 3, beautiful weather today, let's go.
I was really motivated because I was extremely lucky with the weather. The waterfall you can see right here is called Staubbach Falls. With a height of almost 300 meters, it's one of the highest free-falling waterfalls in Europe. The water comes from melting glaciers and flows all year round. When it's windy, the waterfall changes its shape drastically. Staubbach Falls is just one of 72 waterfalls in the Lauterbrunnen Valley and definitely a must-see.
This trail is closed. Now I have to go here. This is hard, very hard.
The start into the day was already very brutal. I showed the massive Staubach Falls before. I was basically hiking to the top of the waterfall as a first step. The 3 summits you can see right here are called Eiger, Mönch and Jungfrau. The day before I would have been much closer to these mountains, but they were in the clouds. The 3 peaks are one of the most recognizable mountain ranges in Switzerland. The Mönch and Jungfrau are more than 4,000 meters high. The peaks were first climbed in the 19th century. The Mönch is considered the most accessible for climbers. The Eiger has one of the deadliest north faces. More than 60 climbers have died since the first attempts in the 1930s.
Made it to Mürren. It took me 1 hour and 50 minutes. I'm quite happy with the pace.
Besides the train, there's also a gondola from the valley up to Mürren. They recently built a new gondola that is really impressive. It's currently the steepest cable car in the world. At the bottom you can see the old gondola and the new one that is much steeper. It's crazy how far technology has come. Because of the steep cliffs, the region is very famous for base jumping, the deadliest sport in the world. Over 15,000 jumps are made in the valley each year. As many accidents happen, Lauterbrunnen is often referred to as the Valley of Death in the base jumping community. It's both a beautiful paradise and a deadly playground for extreme sport enthusiasts. I was really glad to be hiking instead of jumping from cliffs. The Route 1 sign showed me that I was still on the Via Alpina. My goal was to reach the Rotstockhütte by noon.
Painting the signs, really nice.
This sign indicates that you are on the hiking trail. By following these signs, you can ensure that you stay on the right path.
Perennials and thunder, summer sun still glows. Drinking bars with strangers, separate ways we go.
This is just a dream. It's a pity that my brother can't be here. With him it would be much nicer, but it's still very beautiful.
I ate some bread for lunch with this stunning view. I had to strap a small backpack onto my main backpack for this trip. Otherwise I wouldn't have had enough space to carry food. I was really happy with this setup. At this point I was already very close to the Rotstockhütte.
Made it to Rotstockhütte, let's go!
At the hut I ate some tasty cake and drank homemade iced tea. The Rotstockhütte is part of the SAC, the Swiss Alpine Club. The SAC was founded in 1863 and is one of the oldest alpine clubs in the world, promoting mountaineering, hiking and climbing in the Swiss Alps. The club has more than 150,000 members. It maintains about 150 mountain huts, offering over 9,000 beds for climbers and hikers.
The cake was very tasty, now it's time to move on.
I'm sweating so hard again. It's brutal with the sun. Up there is the highest point of today. Now there's even some snow. After 5 hours and 17 kilometers, I finally made it to the highest point. It's very funny, up here I just met 2 women that are doing exactly the same tour. Time to go downhill.
I was really happy that there was no more uphill. The 2 women I met are originally from Spain. They moved to Switzerland a few years ago. It's really funny that they were also hiking from Meidingen to Kandersteg. The only problem was that the last day of the tour had a dangerous section, which would have been too risky with their dog. They knew nothing about it and were grateful that I told them.
I'm now 6 hours in. My shoulders hurt quite bad because of the downhill. It's really tough. Made it to the bottom. I'm very happy about that, but I still have about 40 minutes to go.
I was extremely exhausted. At this point it was no longer fun. However, knowing that there was less than an hour to go kept me motivated. After the 40 minutes, it took some additional time to find a good spot for the night. Eventually, I decided to set up my tent here.
So I made it, 7.5 hours, 26 kilometers and more than 2,000 meters of height. Today was really hard. It was fun, but I'm so glad that I can chill now. My feet hurt quite a bit now. Can't wait to take off my shoes.
I cooked some ramen for dinner and had an amazing view. With 26 kilometers and 2,000 meters of elevation gain, it was the most exhausting day so far.
Day number 4, last day, but again, beautiful weather today. I'm really looking forward to this. Goal of today is to get up there.
Also on day 4, a lot of elevation gain awaited me. I was extremely lucky with the weather again. The only problem was that the most direct route was closed. Luckily, there was another trail I could hike up. However, this route included a blue trail. Let me quickly explain you the different types of trails. The easiest trails are the yellow ones. These are not challenging at all and are often in flat areas. In the mountains, most of the trails are red-white. These trails are a bit more challenging and require the right equipment. Last but not least are the blue-white trails. These trails are alpine. A paved path is not guaranteed and sometimes they cross snowfields with high exposure or even glaciers. That's why I warned the 2 ladies that were hiking with a dog. They didn't know that the direct route was closed.
I'm sweating like a waterfall again. It's really hot.
Something that is mind-blowing to me is how many hiking trails there are in Switzerland. There are more than 65,000 kilometers of marked trails that wind through breathtaking landscapes of mountains, lakes, forests and valleys. The first trails were built in the 19th century. Today, it's one of the world's most extensive and accessible hiking trail networks. That's something I definitely don't take for granted.
From way down there to up here, 1.5 hours. I'm absolutely dying. Made it to the start of the Blue Trail. It was very hard already, and now I have to put away the camera because I will need both my hands.
Let's just say it was easier than I expected and the view was incredible. I ate lunch at Bliemnis Alphütte. After such a workout, the food always tastes 10 times better. Afterwards, I hiked down to Öschnensee, a very scenic mountain lake which is very famous amongst tourists. I have already been there with 2 friends. Here are some images I took with my camera the first time I was there. After the lake, it took another hour to get to Kandersteg. On the last day, I hiked 18 kilometers and did 1,400 meters in height. In total, I hiked 94 kilometers and gained 6,200 meters in altitude. It was sad that Tim had to leave, but I was really happy that I could finish the adventure on my own.
Made it to Kandersteg, 4 days, almost 100 kilometers. It was really hot, I pushed quite hard. It was so exhausting, but at the same time extremely beautiful, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. But I have to admit, I'm not sad that I'm going home now to rest. I'm really exhausted. And yeah, consider to subscribe if you liked this video. And as always, thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.
Tim and me went on an unforgettable 5-day canoe adventure in Sweden. This time we could finish the trip together. The landscapes were incredibly beautiful and nature surprised us with something I will remember for the rest of my life. So if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss out on the next adventure. See you in the next one.